You're tired of wondering how to feel more confident. You're smart, capable, and accomplished. On paper, yeah, you should feel confident. You've collected degrees, certifications, awards, and even those gold stars. But inside, it still feels like massive self doubt. Maybe you second guessed yourself after meetings or reread email drafts 3 or 4 times before you hit send. Maybe you're the person everyone else sees as confident, yet you quietly feel inside like you're never quite enough. So you Google things like how to feel more confident, hoping that there's some sort of a simple list you can follow to just conjure up the confidence you want. Here's the truth that I teach my clients. Chances are you don't really have a confidence problem. You probably have a self confidence problem. Many people use those terms interchangeably, but they're not the same thing. Confidence is based on past evidence. I've done this before, so I know I can do it again. Self confidence, on the other hand, is based on belief in yourself. No matter what comes my way, I trust myself to figure it out. Most high achieving women that I coach don't need more proof that they're capable. They have plenty of proof. What they really need is a way to trust themselves in the moments when things like fear, self doubt, and what ifs show up and shut them down. That's exactly why I created my 3P self confidence method. So, what is the 3P self confidence method? It's a step by step process to build real, sustainable self confidence by working on three key areas: shifting your self perception, building belief in your potential to navigate whatever comes your way, and reframing your perspective on what other people think of you. In practice, here's how that looks. Perception is about changing how you see and talk to yourself so you're rooted in self leadership and self compassion instead of harsh self judgment. Potential is about building trust in your ability to handle whatever life throws at you, even when you've never done it before or you can't predict how it's going to turn out. And perspective is all about loosening the grip that other people's opinions have on you so you can make decisions that align with your values instead of people pleasing your way to a state of burnout and resentment. Underneath all three of these is an important foundation, and that foundation is nervous system regulation. Throughout my 3P self confidence method, we integrate nervous system regulation, simple body based strategies to calm the fear and self doubt that keep showing up, even though you know you should feel more confident than you currently do. In other words, we don't just work on your thoughts, we also work with your body's stress response so the mindset piece has a chance to actually stick. Let's walk through each P in my 3P self confidence method so you can see how they work together to help you feel more confident from the inside out. The first P is perception. Let's talk about how to feel more confident by shifting how you see yourself. The core question here is, how do I talk to myself when I'm struggling, making mistakes, or trying something new? For many high achieving women, perception is where the pain lives. You spent years motivating yourself with harsh criticism, sky high standards, and do it right or don't do it all mentality. It's worked well enough to get you where you are, but internally, it's exhausting and it hurts. The underlying problem in perception is that your perfectionism and self judgment are costing you time, money, and opportunities. Some common inner thoughts when there's a perception issue that needs to shift might be, I have to get this absolutely perfect before I can submit it. Or I have no business applying for that promotion because so many other people are way more qualified than I am. Or I can't believe how awkward I sounded in that conversation. You might look confident on the outside, but on the inside, you feel like you're always replaying your mistakes or bullying yourself to constantly prove your worth or demanding that you exceed expectations 100% of the time. So, one of my clients, actually many of my clients, but this one in particular, constantly pressured herself to do everything perfectly at work. She would stay late revising presentations. She reworked emails many, many times before she felt comfortable sending them. And she felt tense in every meeting because she was constantly critiquing herself in real time. Through coaching, I helped her to notice and name the perfectionistic thoughts that were driving her stress. I helped her practice nervous system regulation tools to calm her body when her anxiety spiked. And I helped her learn to replace that I must be perfect mentality with beliefs rooted in self leadership and self compassion. She learned to allow herself to be imperfect, but still impactful. Her work quality stayed high, but her self criticism and overworking, those dropped way down. Perception work often looks like catching yourself mid spiral and shifting away from what's wrong with me to what's happening for me right now, what's coming up for me. It can also look like sending a draft that's at 95% instead of obsessing about getting that last 5% perfect. It can also look like talking to yourself the way that you would talk to a beloved friend or family member instead of your worst enemy. As we shift your perception, the goal is not to turn you into a different person. Instead, the goal is to help you become a kinder, more effective leader of your own thoughts and emotions. P number 2 is potential. Let's talk about how to feel more confident by trusting yourself to navigate whatever comes up. The core question under potential is, do I trust myself to navigate through whatever happens, even if I can't predict the outcome? Potential is not about having potential the way that you've probably heard for most of your life. In my 3P self-confidence method, potential is about shifting from performance and perfection to self-trust. Instead of telling yourself that you have to execute flawlessly, you learn how to tell yourself that you trust yourself to navigate whatever comes up, even if it's messy and imperfect. Here, potential simply means that you believe in your potential to get through any situation. Here's the shift that happens inside the potential part of the 3P self-confidence method. When you're caught in perfectionism, every new opportunity feels like a test you could fail. As a result, you tend to stay in your comfort zone, avoid risks, and wait until you feel ready, which, by the way, never really comes because ready is often a moving goalpost. Potential work asks you to practice being bold before you feel ready, but with support, compassion, and a healthy dose of nervous system regulation underneath. Examples include initiating a tough conversation you've been avoiding because you believe and trust that you can handle the discomfort, or volunteering to go first in a meeting without having to rehearse every word in your head beforehand. Or maybe even something like trying a new hobby or activity simply to enjoy it, not to be perfect at it. I'd like to share another client story. One of my clients longed to step into more visible leadership roles in her community, but she was terrified of failing in front of other people. She would tell herself, if I mess this up, they'll never see me the same way again. In coaching, we identified the deeper beliefs that were driving her fear of failure. We used nervous system regulation to help her stay grounded when she felt exposed or on the spot. And I helped her practice new thoughts like, I can handle this if it doesn't go perfectly, and every leader learns by doing, not by hiding. Over time, her self-confidence and trust deepened. She began saying yes to opportunities that she'd been avoiding for years and developed her leadership skills with a new sense of boldness and courage. Not because the fear disappeared, but because she trusted herself to navigate it when it came up. If you're watching this video and thinking, that sounds exactly like me, I want to let you know that the 3P self-confidence method is the backbone of my 12-week one-on-one coaching program, The Self-Confidence Edit. You're welcome to book a free consultation where we'll talk about your situation, your goals, and whether the self-confidence edit is a good fit for you. The third P in the 3P self-confidence method is perspective. Let's talk about how to feel more confident by reframing what other people think of you. The core question here is, whose opinion is driving my decisions, mine or everyone else's? You can build a healthy self-perception and grow your belief in your potential to navigate whatever comes up, but still be held back by this one thing, the fear of what other people might think of you. Perspective work in the 3P self-confidence method focuses on releasing the grip of other people's opinions and redefining what success and approval mean in your life. When your perspective is off, you might overthink conversations for hours or even days afterward, replaying what you said and wondering, did I come off weird? And you might also say yes to things that you don't really have the capacity to take on because you don't want to disappoint other people. Or maybe you go along with what other people want and then end up feeling resentful later because you never voiced what you needed because you were afraid that you'd make people feel bad. On the surface, this can look like being kind, flexible, or even a team player. Internally, though, it often feels like you're disappearing inside of your own life. One of my clients who was in a management role spent a lot of her time worrying about what her team thought of her. Every single decision that she made felt loaded. She thought that if she held her team accountable, they'd think she was too harsh, but if she was too understanding, then they would think she was too weak. In coaching, we worked together to clarify her values and what she wanted her leadership to stand for. We worked to reframe her assumptions about her employees' opinions and views of her, and we used nervous system regulation tools to help her stay steady when those hard conversations came up. As she shifted her perspective, she began defining success less as everyone likes me and more as I lead with fairness, clarity, and care. Her decisions became more grounded and less reactive, and her relationships at work improved as a result. So here's what this might look like in your life. Perspective work could show up as saying no to a request and staying present in your body instead of spiraling into guilt. It could look like allowing someone to just be disappointed without making it mean that you're a bad person. It could look like choosing what you want in your career or your personal life, even if other people don't understand or approve of it. When perception, potential, and perspective work together, you build a breed of self-confidence that isn't so shaken by other people's reactions. Let's talk about how your nervous system comes into play in the 3P self-confidence method and why we bring it along for the ride. Throughout all of the 3Ps, your nervous system comes with you because your nervous system is always with you. If your body's stress response is constantly in overdrive, you can read all the mindset tips in the world and still feel like nothing's changing. That's why my 3P self-confidence method integrates nervous system regulation as a through line. For example, when we're working on shifting your self-perception, we use nervous system regulation to calm your body down from that security guard's alarm when your fear or self-doubt or anxiety starts to spike because you're thinking something like you're not good enough or you have to get it perfect or whatever else might come up. Then, once your nervous system is regulated, we start to work on your thoughts and feelings about yourself. When we're working on building belief in your potential to navigate whatever comes up, we use nervous system regulation to help you when you take a bold step like speaking up or going first or trying something new. Those body-based tools help you lean into the uncertainty and vulnerability of navigating uncertain situations instead of retreating and running away. And finally, in terms of shifting your perspective on how other people think about you, when you risk disappointing someone or being misunderstood, we calm the physical sensations of fear or guilt so you can stay aligned with your values and move forward in a way that makes sense for you. Now remember, as I've said before, if you've tried mindset work in the past and struggled to make it stick, that body-first integration, that nervous system regulation is often the missing piece. Coaching, of course, is not a replacement for medical or mental health support. However, it can be a powerful complement when you're ready to build self-confidence in a structured, forward-focused way. All right, let's bring it all together and talk about how the 3P self-confidence method helps you learn how to feel more confident. When you first Google how to feel more confident, it's easy to think that the answer is more tips, more achievements, or just more positive thinking. The 3P self-confidence method goes much deeper. We start by focusing on perception, where you learn to shift from harsh self-judgment to effective self-leadership and self-compassion so that you're no longer your own worst critic. Next, we focus on potential, where you build trust in your ability to navigate whatever comes up so you can take bold action even when you can't predict the outcome. And finally, we focus on perspective, where you loosen the grip of other people's opinions so that you can make decisions that are driven by your values, not by fear of disappointment or disapproval. We also integrate nervous system regulation. I teach you how to care for your nervous system throughout the entire process so that mindset changes can actually take root. This is exactly how you move from I look confident on the outside, but I feel like I'm not enough on the inside to I love and lead myself, and I trust myself to handle whatever life throws at me. If you recognize yourself in some of the examples I talked about in the video and you're ready for guided, structured support, I would love to talk with you. The Self Confidence Edit is my 12-week one-on-one coaching program built around my 3P self confidence method. Together, we'll unpack the patterns that are quietly draining your self confidence. We'll integrate nervous system regulation with mindset work so that changes actually last. And ultimately, the goal is to help you feel as confident on the inside as you look on the outside. If that resonates with you, your next step is simple. Check out the link in my bio or in the description of this video to schedule a free consultation. We'll talk about what you're struggling with, where you want to go, and whether this approach is a good fit for you. No pressure, no hard sell, just a real conversation about your goals and the kind of support that will fit you best. My name is Amy Shield. I help smart, capable women feel as confident on the inside as they look on the outside. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I hope you have an amazing day. Bye-bye.